Hi guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Welcome back to Jenny's Corner, and today we'll be looking at nursing internship documents. I know we've talked about it before, so this video is more of like a mini video from my previous video that talked about nursing internship in Nigeria, and in this video we'll be looking more detailed to the nursing internship documents. And that was because a special request was made from one of my subscribers. She was like, that could we see some samples or slash draft of this document that you listed out? I'm like, why not? I'm readily available to do that. So that's why I'm making this video, to give you samples slash draft of this document. Not all of them, because some of them are very specific that you can only get them from your school. And so even if I give you a sample, you would still, the one you're going to get from your school is going to be different. And that's like the degree certificate, this one. So I'm putting it up there, the document that I listed, the important document for nursing internship. I actually put out 10, but there's an additional one, that is the exemption letter. This exemption letter is in like peculiar cases where you want to proceed to do your NYSC instead of your internship, and your school, they're okay with it. So you have to first make some inquiries from your school if they're okay with you proceeding to do your NYSC first before your internship. And if they're okay with that, then you go ahead to do your exemption letter. If not, this letter, that is not for you. So basically that's making it 11 instead of the total I put up before. That's like 10, so now we have 11. Okay, so your degree certificate is very peculiar to your school. So it will have your school logo, everything. Your induction certificate and intern license, these two, they're coming from the NMC. So you're going to, it's also peculiar because it's coming from NMC. And then your testimonial usually from your junior school, from your junior high school, either junior high school or senior high school, one of them. Your testimonials from there. And then your first school leaving too, very peculiar from the school you finished from your first school, your primary school, most definitely. And then your birth certificates, the one that we normally use is the National Population Commission, that's the NPC birth certificate. You could go to it's very important. That's the one we work with, because sometimes people present with their hospital birth certificates or their church birth certificates. They usually don't accept that. They accept the NPC birth certificate. And then we also have the local government certificate. Also, this one, it will be a little bit more specific to the local government that you're from. And then the rest is the one I'm going to be talking about, which is the CV/resume. This CV/resume is very important. Like, it's more of like a professional background. It gives the employer like an overview of your professional background. And then we have the application letter. It's also referred to as the introduction letter, where you introduce yourself, and then also you give reasons to why you want the employer to employ you. And then we'll be looking at the recommendation/reference letter. This is just a sample, and I wanted to explain also to you guys that we have various type of reference letter, because some people, they're like, oh, I must get it from my school, or I must get it from where I worked before. You're a student, so most times for students, they do academics. Some students actually do have work experience because they have skills, but sometimes your skill has to relate to the profession you're going into. So for the reference/recommendation letter, you could get one from your school, that's the academic reference, and then you could get one from like a family friend or for someone that has known you for a really long time, that's the character reference. And then also you could get like a work reference if you've been working for anyone. You get a work reference just to say, oh, these are the skills you've developed from working with this particular employer. And then the exemption letter, which talks about requesting for permission to proceed with your NYSC, and then you come back and do your internship afterwards. Okay, so we'll be starting with your CV/resume. So that's the first one we'll be talking about. That's the first essential nursing internship document we'll be looking at. This one is very important. In fact, it's very paramount. You cannot replace it. A lot of people ask most employer, they want to see what have you been up to. So it's very important. So this gives you your CV/resume is going to give them like a professional background of what you've been doing. Just to put out a disclaimer that this draft/sample of all these documents, they are mainly to be used for educational purposes, in the sense that they're going to serve as a guide when you're trying to work on your own CV/your own document. And then also all the names, the institutions, they are not real. They're basically just to guide you, and they should not be used for official purposes. You could just use them as a guide when you're doing yours, just to guide you, but they should not be, don't see them as real and do not use them. Okay, so moving forward now, I'm going to be starting with the first document. The first document that I'm going to be talking about is CV/resume. So I'm going to put up a sample now. Okay, so CV/resume is basically, like I said earlier, is what's going to give your employer a professional background of what this particular person has been up to. And so we're going to be looking at the one I'm putting up here. So we're going to look at it together. So basically you could see, and honestly, there are so many samples. Honestly, they're really good samples aside the ones that I'm showing you. So if you see one that is really good, the major thing is to contain important things that an employer wants to see. So and then also previously I said that I naturally prefer a one-page CV because I believe that some employers, especially where we have like numerous people applying for a role, they don't really have time to be flipping 4 to 5 pages. They only want to, at a glance, they want to capture everything at a glance, so they look at one-page CV. But if your skills and your experience are quite plenty and you want to, it can go beyond 1 page, 2 page, then that's fine. And then me, naturally, I'm okay with 1 or 2 page. But if it is 3 or 4 to 5 page, please, I know you have plenty skills or experience, but just try to, because it's just more of like an overview before they invite you for an interview and before the other subsequent checks that will be done before they recruit you. So you just make everything easy for the person. Okay, yeah. So this sample, if you're looking at this sample, the first thing there is your name, your location. Although this one is not so important, but your name, your location is the location I'm referring to. Your name, your location, your phone number, and then your email address. So this is just so they can get in touch with you. Then a professional profile where you just give them your professional profile where you state, oh, this is what I have, this is what I have, and this is what I can do. And then your key clinical skills is looking at the skills you have already presently that you can provide. And then your clinical experience, where have you worked, what did you do there? And then your educational background, maybe you have a diploma, a bachelor's degree, or you have multiple degree, or you just have 1 degree, you just let them know. And then your professional registration, oh, I'm registered with NMC as a public health nurse, as a registered nurse, registered midwife, registered nurse anesthetic, like anything, like all your, just let them know as well. And then your certificate/training, because now most schools, they provide like additional training/certification, like the basic life support, so you just attach them there, and the advanced life support, so you just attach them there to also let the employer know that I have this training, and I have this training available. They're like my additional skills. So that is all for resume/CV. Just you give them, you just let them know what you have been doing. It's more of like a professional background, an overview of your professional background, the things you've achieved so far. One on our list is application letter. And then I'll be talking about what the application letter entails. So basically, the application letter, it entails your personal address and the address of the hospital that you want to work in, or wherever you want to work in. Majorly hospital, because we are nurses, so we do work in hospital. So your personal address, the hospital's address, an address to maybe the HR of the hospital. Like you're addressing it to the HR. And then a title of the letter, then the body of the letter expressing, I have a strong interest in this particular nurse internship position. And then why you want to work with them, basically. Why do you like the hospital? So that's what's going to be in the body of the letter. Your desire that, I have a strong interest in this hospital, and this is why I like the hospital, and this is what I want to work with the hospital, and this is what I can bring to. And then obviously you end it professionally, yours faithfully, then you sign and put your date. That's all with application letter. The only thing I just want to chip in is that some hospitals, they refer to it as application letter or introduction letter, where you introduce yourself. So I don't want it to sound new to you. If you're on my channel, it shouldn't sound new. Application letter is also the same thing as introduction letter, but introduction letter just introduces, my name is this, I'm applying for this as well. And then the next one we have is the exemption letter. For the exemption letter, this exemption letter is just basically is a peculiar situation where you've searched for internship and there is none forthcoming, and you want to proceed to do your NYSC and you want to apply. But before you do this, I would advise that you'd make inquiries from your school, like maybe ask your school registry or anyone in your school, like the staffs in your school, basically. You just ask them in your nursing department, or not just random someone. Like you ask around to, yeah, just basically ask around that, or if they allow for students to proceed with NYSC before their internship. And if it's okay, if it's something that is done in your school, why not you proceed to do it? So if it's not done in your school, you don't need this version, you don't need this letter, you understand? You can skip to the next one I'm going to talk about. So for this assumption letter, it's almost the same thing with application letter, where you have the personal address, and then also you address it to your department, your departmental address, and then the title of the, I'm going to put it up there too, the title of the letter, and then also the body of the letter, that, oh, I'm requesting, or I'm applying. Just state your reason, and then you basically just state your reason, and then why, what you obviously give, you have to give. Okay, so basically, aside stating your reason, you also have to give a reason. Why am I doing this? You understand? Like, why are you doing it? And then after you state your reason, you obviously end professionally as well. And then we have, for the references, I just want to draw your attention that we have 3 kinds of references. So we have the academic reference, we have the work reference, and we have the character reference. For most students, they're just finishing from school, especially if you just have only posting experiences, and you don't, even from your posting experience, actually, if you know like a nursing staff that worked there, that worked there, and they like guided you throughout your nursing posting, you can actually provide them as like a work reference. But obviously you have to state that you're a student nurse during that period, but you have a reference that can vouch for you as a work reference. Okay, so basically we have 3 types of references. We have the academic reference, we have the work reference, and we have the character reference, like I mentioned earlier. The work reference is basically from the name, from your place of work. The academic reference is majorly from your school, or from anywhere that you have like, you've gotten like training, yeah. Not like anyhow training, but like from anywhere you've studied for a period of time, let's say 6 months to a year. Yeah, you have the academic reference. And then we have the character reference. This is for someone that have known you and can like vouch for you, or like stand in for you, or and say, oh, I know this person is a person of discipline and integrity, so I can recommend this person for this particular job. So that's a character reference. And then where you cannot get your work reference, or maybe because you worked, like where you don't have a work reference, you can use the academic reference and the character reference, which is also a very strong reference for you. So we have the first one I'm going to start with is the character reference. I'm going to put it up. So this one is from a church. So you don't really need to know much about this, but you can also provide it for someone that's never done it before and now want to do it for you. So this one now is from a church. So aside from character reference, could be from family friend, it could be from church, it could be from someone that just knows you. You understand? The person does not need to have the person just needs to know you. You understand? So basically, this sample up there is for a church, and obviously some church they have like a logo and the name of the church. So basically you could just show the person that is doing this particular reference for you, yeah, or this sample. If they ask you for it, if they don't ask you for it, sometimes they've done it for other people, so they know how to do it. You understand what I mean? But you can show them, or you can also just use it maybe when they are done to just compare if there's anything you feel like they need to add or subtract. Yeah. And then so that's for the church reference. I see for the character reference, sorry, it's just like from a church. So the next one is from your department. This one is actually very peculiar. You reach out to your department that you actually want a recommendation letter or reference letter. Academic reference, you can get it from like your lecturer as well. It's just that for when you're getting from your department, it's more detailed, and sometimes they will put your grade and all that. Yeah, for sometimes they'll tell you to pay for it, why sometimes it's very free. But if they should, some schools, they say, oh, you pay a certain amount of money so they can give out this recommendation/reference letter. And then I think for the school own, you can reuse it. Most of the times they're very reusable, like because most of the time they don't have like the hospital's name or anything, unless maybe you want to be very, very, very specific. Like actually, like if you want to be very, very specific with that particular reference or recommendation letter, because you're the one applying for it, you're the one requesting for it. But if you don't want to be specific, it's just like a general one. They will just obviously just state your name, the type of like when you came to school, when you graduated, what year you came in, your year of admission, the year you graduated, your CGPA, and then additional skills, personal skills or like professional skills that makes you qualified for the internship role. Yeah, so that just basically it's for the academic reference. It's from the school, so I'll put it up there. But like I said, this is very specific to the school that you are coming from. Yeah, the school you graduated from. And then with that, we've come to the end of all the samples. So basically, I've been able to run through the CV/resume that provides you with your professional background. I've been able to run through the application letter, which shows your interest for the role of nurse intern. And then also I've been able to guide you through the exemption letter, where you want to go ahead with your NYSC and not do the internship first. And then also I've gone through the references, the type of references, so you'll not be so worried that, oh, I must need a work reference. We have the academic and character reference that can stand in for you as well. And then yeah, so that's basically it. And like I said, this is disclaimer, please. This is just a guide, it's just an educational guide to guide you when you are working on your documents, when you're preparing your documents for internship. And the institutions, the names and every other thing, just they're not real, and then also they should not be used for official purposes, honestly. So moving forward now, I would accommodate any questions, inquiries that you just want to let me know. You can ask me questions in the comment section. I always go through them, and I'll always reach out. I'll make a vlog or I'll reply in the comment section just to answer your questions. So with that, we've come to the end of this particular video. Thank you so much for always watching my videos. For people that watch, thank you so much for sharing, for liking, for commenting. I'm really, really grateful, and I would love to see you in other of my videos. Thank you so much, and do have a lovely day.